Well, good morning. Good morning. If you're watching the replay, go ahead and say hashtag replay or say hi or say something. How are you this Wet Hair Wednesday? Friends, I have a question for you, and then I want to dive on into a topic that is actually kind of controversial. My question to you is, what are you currently reading? It is so amazing how what we are reading truly impacts our mind space, can influence our day. We just dove into our final course of year 3 here at Kaneo. And by the way, if you are a year 3 student, give me some hearts, because how blessed are we, right? And I'm not going to lie to you. I am super excited about this current course that we are diving into for our final stretch of this year. It's all about money. And I'm not going to say anything else other than I'm all right with money. I like money. And I know that we have been taught as Christians or as believers that that is not a statement we should say. Well, I'm going to go ahead and attack that this morning. It has been on my radar because I am reading this currently. It is 31 Reasons People Do Not Receive Their Financial Harvest. And I'm just going to go ahead and say, whether you love Jesus or not, money should be on your radar too. And let's talk about that. So I already had this brewing, but I'm telling you, after sitting under last night's class, I was like, I can't not talk about money this morning. And I will tell you my one takeaway. Actually, I'm not going to tell you my one takeaway about class last night just yet. I want to read you this. The only weapon that Satan seems helpless against is the weapon of financial harvest. Why? Because if you and I actually had some money, not only would our needs be taken care of, okay? But what could we fund? You see, in Washington State, I was on staff at a church, and the pastor there at Father's house always said this: money is just a magnifier. So when good people have money, they can do good things. And when bad people have money, they can do bad things. And so you and I, being people who are certainly not perfect, but lean towards kindness and goodness and want to see good things happen on the earth, right? We want to see the widows taken care of and the babies fed and people who have houses and the lost saved and whatever it is that burdens your heart. Well, what if you could throw money at any cause when the cause was made in front of your face? And I'm going to get into some testimonies. Probably not today. We'll have to do, little pieces of this. So I hope you stay tuned. But you can literally hear of a need and immediately write a check. You can hear about a need and you pull out your phone and you go ahead and Venmo whatever is on your heart to give. Would that not be powerful? Now, if you're sitting there in survival mode because you're like, good night, I don't even know how I'm paying my electricity. I don't even know how I'm going to pay my food bill. Like, it's gone up so stinking much. I hear you. I hear you. But that's called survival mode, and that is not of the kingdom. If you serve God, the one true living God, Yahweh, He is Yahweh Jireh. And that doesn't just mean provider so that you can barely scrape by. That means abundant living. Now already, things are flying off like, oh my goodness, she's going to talk about big houses and big cars and lots of vacations. And okay, no, I won't, although I'm not against them. But listen to this. Prosperity is having enough divine provision to complete a divine assignment. What are you called to? What are you called to? And if you don't know, get to know. But let me tell you where you start. Get to know the one who has called you. Just get on into your prayer closet. Get intimacy with him. I heard something the other day and it said, may I never be somebody who's known for the gifts that I possess, but that I have intimacy with the one who gives the gifts. And that's not exactly what they said, but that was my interpretation, and I loved it. I was like, yes. Like, I don't ever want somebody to see me and just see the giftings. The giftings are great. They allow for me to walk in my purpose and walk in such strength and conviction. And the world is actually, it's contagious, right? Like if you are somebody who knows who you are, like you walk a little different. And people are attracted to that because they kind of, well, they want that for themselves, but they want to know, like, what's different about you? And so what if you and I knew our purpose and our calling, and then it was so big and scary enough that we knew the one who had to partner with us in order to go and get and make sure that calling and purpose plays out. But more than that, he's going to fund it. He's going to make sure you have everything you need because he's not going to call you to something and then drop you like it's hot. He's just not. And so my biggest takeaway from class last night was, if money were so evil, the devil would be throwing it at you. And I thought, oh my goodness, like that's so true. Like if you're a believer, think of the things that the enemy throws at you. Think of the things that he distracts you with. Think of the things that he tempts you with, okay? He is getting all up in your space so that you don't do what you're called to do. So if money were so evil, if money were so awful, he'd throw it at you. He would throw it at you. Church, listen. What if, and I'm going to touch on this tomorrow actually, there is a king and it says, when he sought God, he prospered. When he sought God, he prospered. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. Oh, yes, we are. We're going to dive on into this. And if you're squirming, that's okay. But figure out why you're squirming. Because this is for your taking too. You can have it. You don't have to, but you can have it if you want it. It's yours for the taking. So let's go ahead and just continue this tomorrow. What do you say?